Welcome to News Briefs. Today, September 12th, 2025, we're taking the most critical headlines and unpacking them, moving beyond the surface to truly understand the forces at play. Think of it as your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed with those surprising facts and insights that make everything click. Let's jump right into Eastern Europe. The situation between Poland and Russia remains quite heated, doesn't it? Poland reported it had to shoot down several Russian drones. What's the full picture here?
You're right. It was between September 10th and 11th. During a Russian attack on Ukraine, Poland detected something like 19 incursions into its airspace.
19.
Yeah. And they managed to take down 3 of those drones, reportedly with some NATO assistance. They even found missile and drone debris actually on Polish territory.
Wow. And was there significant damage from this debris?
Look, fortunately, the material damages seem minor. But Poland's response was, well, swift and very telling. They immediately activated Article 4 of NATO.
Okay, Article 4. Now, for our listeners, that isn't just a casual request, is it? What does activating it truly signal?
No, it's a really powerful move. Article 4 allows a NATO member to request urgent consultations with allies when they feel their security, their territorial integrity, or even political independence is threatened.
So it signifies a direct threat perception.
Exactly. It demands a collective strategic discussion, not just a casual observation. It's a very strong signal of real concern, a clear red line, really.
So it moves beyond just complaining to actually triggering a formal alliance security mechanism. What was NATO's reaction then, and how did Poland follow up?
Well, NATO chief Mark Rutte quickly condemned Russia's actions, called them reckless. Poland didn't stop there either. They restricted their eastern airspace right through until December.
Until December, okay.
And requested a meeting in the UN Security Council. Russia, well, predictably, denies everything. Claims the drones weren't theirs.
It's a familiar playbook for Moscow, isn't it? Shifting slightly, what about negotiations between Russia and Ukraine? Is there any movement towards peace at all?
Unfortunately, not really. Moscow says negotiations are on pause. That's the official line.
On pause.
Though they do claim communication channels are still open. But, pause. Meanwhile, on the Ukrainian side, President Zelensky keeps warning that Putin still aims to occupy the entire country. So the signals aren't looking great for any quick resolution.
And just to add to the tension, we're seeing more military maneuvers in the region now too, right?
Exactly. Just today, September 12th, the SAFTA 25-25 joint military exercises kicked off. That's between Russia and Belarus.
Where are those happening?
They're taking place across various military training grounds and also naval exercises in the Baltic and Barents Seas. So naturally, this just ratchets up the nervousness in an already tense area.
I can imagine. And NATO's response to these exercises?
NATO has already announced plans to reinforce its eastern flank. So more military presence as a direct response. The core tension, as you can see, it's not just simmering, it's actively escalating.
Right. It's clearly more than just drones. It's this persistent, low-grade confrontation testing boundaries.
Absolutely, testing geopolitical boundaries and, well, the collective security framework of Europe.
Okay, from Eastern Europe, let's turn our attention to the Middle East, specifically Gaza. The humanitarian situation there remains incredibly challenging.
Yes, it's very, very difficult. Israel is continuing its evacuation orders in Gaza City. And amidst all this, we saw a significant diplomatic move. The UN Security Council formally condemned attacks that happened in Doha, Qatar.
Attacks in Qatar, why is that condemnation particularly noteworthy right now?
Well, it's absolutely key because Qatar has been playing such a crucial role as a primary mediator in this conflict. So the Council didn't just condemn the attacks, they reaffirmed strong support for Qatar's sovereignty.
Ah, okay.
It signals international recognition of Qatar's vital, sort of neutral role, and it's a warning against any actions that could undermine its ability to facilitate dialogue.
Makes sense. Beyond that, there was also movement in the UN General Assembly regarding the two-state solution. What's the diplomatic takeaway there?
Yes, a declaration was approved,
Yeah.
got 142 votes in favor, supporting the two-state solution. Now, while it's non-binding, the sheer breadth of support for that idea is considerable.
142 votes is significant backing.
It is. And furthermore, countries like the UK, France, Canada, Australia, they've announced that next week at the UN, they will formally recognize the Palestinian state. That's a powerful diplomatic step. It reflects a growing international push towards a long-term resolution.
Okay, changing continents now. Let's pivot to the United States. There's been an important arrest related to political violence in Utah?
Yes, late yesterday, Thursday night, Tyler James Robinson, a 22-year-old, was arrested. He's the suspect in the murder of the conservative activist Charlie Kirk. It's a case that's really resonated across the country.
And what's emerged about how they caught him, the circumstances?
Well, it seems key information came from a family friend of the suspect. But here's where it gets really striking. Robinson's own father, along with a pastor, apparently convinced him to surrender.
His own father? Wow.
Yeah. It speaks volumes, I think, about the deep divides, but maybe also about some core values persisting despite them.
That's a powerful detail. The picture emerging seems to really highlight the polarization in the country.
It absolutely does. Robinson is described as very left-wing, while his family is reportedly strongly Republican. His father, in this situation, seemingly prioritized justice over, well, political affiliation.
And the evidence found?
Evidence at the scene also paints a vivid picture. They found bullet casings with inscriptions.
Inscriptions, what did they say?
Things like, "Hello, fascist, catch," and, "Oh, bye-bye, the anti-fascist song."
Really underscores a specific political motive, doesn't it? What are the charges now? And the political reactions?
Yes, it certainly seems to. Robinson currently faces aggravated murder charges. Authorities believe he acted alone, for now at least. As for political reactions, President Trump spoke today, confirmed the arrest, and stated pretty directly his confidence that Robinson would be sentenced to death.
Strong words.
Yes. And he also used the opportunity to announce Memphis, Tennessee as the next city for a National Guard deployment, citing criminality. Though he did hint he might have preferred Chicago first.
This assassination and all these details must have amplified fears of more political violence.
Totally. Yeah. It's already prompted security tightenings. We know event cancellations by figures like Congresswomen Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Nancy Mee have happened. There's a palpable concern that this could fuel an already volatile environment.
A stark reminder.
It really is. How deeply personal political divisions can become, sometimes manifesting in these extreme acts.
And staying in the U.S., but on the legislative front, what's the latest on that bipartisan immigration bill?
Right. It's called the Illegal Entry Deterrence Act. It's advancing with bipartisan support. Its main aim is to significantly toughen penalties for illegal entry.
Toughen how? What kind of penalties are we talking about?
Well, the bill proposes a minimum of 5 years in prison for re-entering illegally after deportation. If you commit another crime upon entry, that jumps to 10 or 15 years.
Okay.
And critically, it includes a provision for life imprisonment for undocumented individuals who have previous serious crimes on their record. It's a very firm stance.
Very tough indeed. Designed as a deterrent, clearly.
Exactly. But it does raise questions about the long-term impact on the justice system and, humanitarian considerations too.
We also saw some international repercussions from U.S. immigration enforcement, didn't we? Specifically involving South Korean workers.
Yes, that's right. Over 300 South Korean workers arrested in that large raid back on September 4th at a Hyundai plant in Georgia. Well, they arrived back in South Korea today after being deported.
I remember that raid.
Yeah. They were met by authorities and family members. And this event has undoubtedly strained relations between Seoul and Washington. It highlights the diplomatic sensitivity around these kinds of enforcement actions.
Okay, crossing the border now to Mexico, the gas tanker explosion in Iztapalapa. The bad news just keeps coming, doesn't it?
Yes, it's a truly tragic situation. New images, new details are still emerging. The death toll has been corrected now to 8. And some absolutely heartbreaking stories are coming out.
Like what? What are these stories telling us about the human cost?
Well, one particularly harrowing account is of Alicia, a 49-year-old woman. She used her own body to shield her 2-year-old granddaughter. The little girl survived, but Alicia is in critical condition with 90% burns.
Oh, how awful.
And then there's the confirmation of Anna Daniela's death. She was a 19-year-old student. They identified her after a paramedic found her partially burned cell phone, and managed to call her family from it. Just terrible.
Devastating. These stories really bring home the impact.
They really do. And they also raise questions, of course, about safety regulations, rapid urban development in areas like Iztapalapa.
Absolutely. And finally, in this political roundup, just quickly, the ongoing tension between Puerto Rico and Venezuela still simmering.
Yes, the clash between Puerto Rico's Governor Jennifer Gonzalez and Venezuelan President Maduro is definitely continuing. A group of Venezuelan women living in Puerto Rico released a video, which the governor herself actually shared, directly rejecting Maduro's statements.
And what did they say in the video?
They expressed support for Governor Gonzalez and also for the United States' actions against drug trafficking in the Caribbean. So, yes, the tension is still there. It kind of weaves together regional politics with broader U.S. anti-drug efforts.
Right. Okay. Shifting gears completely now, let's dive into finance. There seems to be a real boom in interest around green cryptocurrencies. What's driving this surge?
Yeah, it's a topic getting a lot of attention, and there seem to be two primary drivers. First, new energy regulations coming out of the United States.
Uh-huh.
And second, just a general increase in environmental awareness across the industry and, among investors.
Let's unpack those regulations a bit. What are the key pieces of legislation pushing this green shift?
There are a couple important ones to watch. One is a proposed tax. It would levy a 30% surcharge on electricity, specifically used for crypto mining. The aim is to discourage that high energy consumption.
Makes sense. Hit them in the wallet.
Exactly. And the other is the Clean Cloud Act of 2025. This sets a target for data centers and crypto mining operations to stop using fossil fuels by 2035. So together, these are creating a pretty powerful incentive for the industry to explore greener alternatives.
And this is where proof of stake, or POS, comes in as a more sustainable alternative to Bitcoin's proof of work, right?
Precisely. Proof of stake uses dramatically less energy than proof of work, POW, which is what Bitcoin currently relies on. The most famous example, of course, is Ethereum. After its big switch to POS, its energy consumption dropped by something like 99.9%.
That's an incredible reduction. Are there other notable green cryptos using POS or similar systems that are gaining traction?
Oh, absolutely. Beyond Ethereum, you're seeing significant growth in others using POS or comparable energy-efficient systems. Think Cardano, that's ADA, Chia XCH, Solana, SOL, Algorand, LGO. They're all gaining ground as the industry moves towards sustainability.
But Bitcoin, the original giant, still uses POW. Is its narrative really changing on the energy front, or is it mostly just talk?
The narrative is definitely evolving, even for Bitcoin. While it still uses POW, there's a growing movement among miners to shift towards renewable energy. Some projections even suggest that by 2030, maybe up to 70% of Bitcoin mining energy could come from renewables.
That would be a significant shift.
It would. And this is also being helped by, well, greater regulatory clarity overall, like the Genius Act for stablecoins that came out in July. And the SEC head, Paul Atkins, seems more open to specific crypto regulation under something called the Crypto Project. All this institutional engagement is encouraging the search for sustainable, compliant options. It's a fascinating dynamic.
Okay, let's transition to the global real estate market. Are we seeing signs of a cool down? And how is it playing out differently in various regions?
We are indeed seeing signs of a global cooling, yes. But it's crucial to remember this varies a lot by location. In the UK, for example, recent data from August showed quite a substantial drop in prices, actually the largest drop in about a year and a half.
And what are the main reasons for that specific decline in the UK?
It's largely put down to lingering economic uncertainty and also just exceptionally high mortgage rates. It makes homeownership very challenging.
Right. And how does that compare to the United States? The housing market there often seems to follow its own rules.
The U.S. situation is quite strange, actually. While prices are expected to rise slightly, maybe 2.5% for 2025, the number of existing home sales could plummet to 30-year lows.
30-year lows. Wow.
Yeah, similar to 2024, which was already the worst year for sales since 1995.
So prices are up, but sales volumes are way down. What does that tell us about housing accessibility in the U.S.?
It really highlights a significant housing access crisis. With average mortgage rates still high, around 6.7%, it's just incredibly difficult for the average person to afford a home. And this environment, unfortunately, tends to favor cash-rich investors who can bypass financing.
Widening the gap.
Exactly. It widens that gap between property owners and those trying to get on the ladder.
So, a tough market for first-time buyers. How does this look elsewhere? Say, Spain or even Tokyo?
Well, in Spain, prices seem to be stabilizing, or maybe even seeing slight increases, according to banks like TaxaBank. Then you have outlier markets like Tokyo, which are reportedly heating up. They're attracting foreign investment because credit there is comparatively cheaper. So the global picture is really uneven.
Very patchy indeed. Okay, moving to health and science. There's been an important development for Alzheimer's treatment, right?
Absolutely, yes. At the end of August, the FDA in the U.S. approved a new way to administer Chembi. That's a treatment for early Alzheimer's.
And what's the big change with this new method?
The breakthrough is that Chembi is now available as a subcutaneous injection, so just under the skin. It's a weekly treatment for the maintenance phase, and crucially, it can be applied at home, either by the patient or a caregiver.
Ah, look at that. That's a huge leap in convenience compared to before.
It really is. Before this, patients needed intravenous infusions, IVs, every 15 days, usually in a hospital or clinic. Imagine the difference in quality of life. Fewer trips, less disruption.
Greater autonomy.
Exactly. It's a substantial advance in treatment accessibility for early Alzheimer's. Much more patient-centered.
That's great news. What other exciting progress are we seeing in medicine, maybe in regenerative areas?
Yeah, there's a lot of ongoing progress in 3D bioprinting and regenerative medicine. Researchers are developing new hydrogels that are both elastic and biodegradable. The goal is to use these materials to print soft tissues, like, for example, blood vessels.
Printing blood vessels sounds incredibly futuristic. How close are we to making that a reality for, say, complex organs?
Well, while significant progress is being made, there's still a considerable way to go. The challenges are immense, Creating that intricate branching network of tiny vessels needed for a large organ is incredibly complex.
Right, the plumbing.
Exactly. And the initial printed vessels can be quite fragile. But the research is pushing forward rapidly in tissue engineering.
And just quickly on the public health front, what's happening with vaccination efforts?
Arizona has joined other states like California, Washington, New York. They're strongly promoting COVID-19 vaccination. Governor Katie Hobbs signed an executive order specifically aimed at ensuring broad access for residents there.
Okay, good to know. All right, let's jump into the cutting edge of technology and science, quantum computing. Is it finally going to be something we use every day at home, or is it still mostly for labs and big companies?
Laugh softly. No, definitely still quite away from being a household item. Progress is being made towards more accessible chips, yes, but its main use is still within specialized companies, scientific research.
Yeah.
Usually accessed via the cloud, you see.
Right. Not buying one off the shelf anytime soon.
Not yet.
So who are the key players in this high-stakes race to build practical quantum computers?
Well, there's several major players pushing hard. See, Quantum, for example, they recently secured $1 billion in funding.
$1 billion? Wow.
Yes, specifically to develop fault-tolerant machines. That means computers that can correct their own errors, which is a huge hurdle.
Right.
They're working with NVIDIA towards systems with 1 million qubits.
1 million qubits. The scale is mind-boggling. What about others? Microsoft.
Absolutely. That funding underscores the challenge. Microsoft, working with a company called Computing, announced they're launching a commercial quantum computer this year, 2025.
And the usual tech giants. IBM, Google, Amazon.
Oh, they're definitely in the thick of it.
Hmm.
IBM continues with its Heron processor and the Quantum System 2, which they already offer as a service. They're aiming for a fault-tolerant machine by 2029. Google's developing its Willow and Quantum Flamingo chips. And Amazon Web Services, AWS, introduced Ocelot. That's a chip designed to lower error correction costs, another key bottleneck.
I thought I read Cisco was getting involved, too.
Yes, that's right. Cisco showed off a prototype of an entanglement source chip, which is pretty technical but fundamental for generating the quantum states needed. They've also opened their own quantum labs. And beyond these giants, you have companies like Xanadu, Hyperlight, Quantum Computing Inc., making strides, especially with chips using light photonics.
So it's accelerating, becoming more accessible for specific tasks, but still a specialized tool.
Precisely. The focus now is really on tackling those foundational problems like error correction and stable entanglement to make them truly useful at scale.
All right, let's switch gears to sports. NFL last night. Any highlights?
Yes, Week 2 kicked off with a Thursday night game. The Green Bay Packers beat the Washington Commanders 27-18.
Good start for Green Bay then, 2-0. How did Jordan Love do?
Indeed. Jordan Love had a solid game, threw for 292 yards and 2 touchdown passes. So a strong showing to start their season.
And looking ahead to this weekend, big UFC and heavyweight boxing on the docket, right?
You got it. Tomorrow, Saturday the 13th, is UFC night in San Antonio. The main event is a featherweight clash between 2 Brazilians. Diego Lopez, he's ranked number 3, against Jay Silva, ranked number 10. Should be exciting.
Anything else on that UFC card to watch?
Definitely. We've also got Arfund versus David Martinez and Tatiana Suarez taking on Amanda Lemos. Oh, and a little detail from the weigh-in today. Kelvin Gastelum missed weight for his middleweight fight, so he forfeits part of his purse. Happens sometimes.
Right. And then the huge boxing match, Canelo Alvarez against Terrence Crawford. That's the one everyone's talking about.
Absolutely. Canelo defending his undisputed super middleweight title, 168 pounds, against the undefeated Terrence Crawford, who's moving up 2 whole weight classes.
Massive challenge for Crawford.
Tremendous challenge. It's happening in Las Vegas.
And the weigh-in today, everything okay there?
All good. Both fighters weighed in at 167.5 pounds, so under the limit. Ready for tomorrow. And here's the kicker. The fight is exclusive to Netflix.
Seriously, just on Netflix? That's a huge move for them in sports broadcasting.
It's a massive play. If you have a Netflix subscription, you watch it, no extra pay-per-view fee. It's a really strong signal of Netflix entering the live boxing world in a big way. Could change how fights are distributed.
Interesting. Okay, let's shift to football soccer. The Champions League is starting with a new format.
Yeah.
What's different for this 2025-26 season?
That's right. Next week, September 16th to 18th, is the first match day of the new league phase. The big change is it's expanded to 36 teams, more matches, different structure.
And what's the biggest incentive for teams under this new setup?
Well, besides more teams and games, the significant new thing this season is that teams finishing higher in this league phase get a big advantage. They'll play the second leg of all the knockout rounds, round of 16, quarters, semis at home.
Ah, that's a serious home field advantage. What's the thinking behind that?
The idea is to put more weight on the league phase itself, make teams compete hard right from the start to grab those top spots and secure that advantage later on, make the early stages more competitive.
Makes sense. Okay, to close out sports, let's look back quickly at the recent World Aquatics Championships in Singapore. Any standout moments?
Well, there were only 3 world records set Leon Marchand in the 200 IM and 2 U.S. relays, which is still pretty remarkable, of course, but the overall level of competition was exceptionally high.
Other strong performances besides the records?
How many? We saw numerous championship records fall the best marks ever at a World Championships. Stars like Summer McIntosh from Canada, Katie Ledecky, Gretchen Walsh from the U.S., David Popovici of Romania, Kaylee McKeown from Australia. Lots of big names shown. China actually topped the medal table in the end. Strong global field.
Okay, wrapping up with entertainment, let's talk video games first. What were the big takeaways from the recent Gamescom and New York Game Awards?
What was interesting, I thought, was that both award shows, Gamescom in Germany and the New York Game Awards, made a point of recognizing both the huge blockbusters, big franchises, and the innovative independent games, the smaller titles.
A good mix, then.
Yeah, it shows a maturing industry that values both scale and creativity.
Can you give us some examples of winners?
Sure. At Gamescom, Resident Evil Requiem grabbed 4 awards, but indie games like Jayla and Tiny Bookshop also got nods. In New York, Game of the Year went to Astrobot, while UFO 50 won Best Indie. They also recognized Troy Baker's voice work in the Indiana Jones game, the Elden Ring DLC, the Silent Hill 2 remake. Really something for everyone. Shows a diverse landscape.
Okay. In music, huge news for Karol G.
Yes, this is really big. Tomorrow, Saturday, the Colombian superstar Karol G is set to make history. She's the first Latina artist ever to perform for Pope Leo XIV.
Wow. Where is this taking place, and who else is performing?
It's happening in the Vatican, part of a concert called Grace for the World. She'll be sharing the stage with Pharrell Williams and Andrea Bocelli. It's just a tremendous milestone for her and for Latin music's global recognition.
Absolutely impressive. Okay. Slightly different vibe. What's this trend of bars de despecho?
Right. It's a fascinating cultural thing. Despacho bars or cantinas. The concept apparently started in Mexico and is now spreading to the U.S., even Europe.
And what's the unique appeal? What defines them?
The whole idea is they play really nostalgic, emotional music designed for, cathartic release, whether it's crying away sorrows or just letting off steam.
Music to have a good cry to, basically.
Sort of, or just connect with deep memories, leveraging music's effect on mood, almost like musical therapy, but, in a bar setting. Speaks to that need for emotional expression.
How original. Okay, finally, a rather surprising royal visit made headlines.
Indeed. Prince Harry made an unexpected appearance visiting Kyiv in Ukraine. Reports suggest he was invited by the Ukrainian government.
And the timing of this visit seems particularly notable right after his UK trip.
It absolutely does. It happened just after his trip to the UK, where he met his father, King Charles I. That was their first face-to-face meeting in, 19 months? So, yeah, a very busy and diplomatically charged schedule for Prince Harry recently, weaving personal stuff with international messaging.
From shifting geopolitical landscapes to the future of computing and the ever-evolving world of entertainment, it's clear our world is accelerating on multiple fronts. As you consider these rapid changes, remember that understanding the why behind the headlines is often more powerful than just knowing the what. Perhaps the real mission is in understanding how these seemingly disparate events might be shaping a future closer than we think.